Welcome to Profiles in Quality, an interview program with the leading names in quality management. I'm your host, Dirk Ducharme. Last week we saw the second of several interviews with quality management guru H. James Harrington, CEO of the Harrington Institute. In the first week, Harrington talked about quality in Dubai. Last week, he gave us some insight into quality in China, an episode that sparked a few comments from our viewers. This week may also bother those who view quality as a job rather than a lifestyle, as Harrington discusses a topic that readers of his monthly column in Quality Digest will find familiar: quality and family life. Over the last couple of years, you've touched a lot on the importance of family and how you deal with your family life and your personal life, and how that connects to how you run your business. I'm interested in hearing a little bit more about that. What is the connection between the two?
Well, I think that the real advantage that I'm seeing in the European and Asian market is they still have a good family culture. Okay. You know, if you look at what influences the people in Europe most as far as selecting a career, it's their teachers.
Okay.
How about in Asia? Who's the biggest influence on children in selecting their career? Their parents. Who is it in the United States? Tell me.
Probably
television.
Television.
Yeah. You're right.
Okay.
You know, the media.
Yeah.
You see, very, very different. You know, there really is not that close family bond that we see, where we used to have, where the parent was truly interested in the child, where the parent, you know, in the United States we have quality time because we're so rushed. We've only got an hour, so we're going to have quality time with them. Well, the other 23 hours are more important than that. More and more we're getting to the point that all the house is just a hotel for a group of people. They just run in, they sleep there, they grab a meal. They don't eat together anymore. They don't share anything anymore. So your children are in a position where they really don't develop the values that they used to.
How does that translate to the workplace?
Well, because part of the values is the value of work. You know, your parents instill in you the fact that it is important for you to do a good job. It is important for you to do a fair day's work. It's the morality that you are influenced with, rather than being influenced by the television and these games where you're shooting people. And you're still seeing the parents in the developing countries having a major impact upon the thought patterns of their children. And these are the people that come in and run your businesses in the future.
So these attitudes, you're saying it's not only affecting the attitude of, let's say, the production person, but the attitudes of management as well?
Well, of course, because if the parent doesn't care about really working closely with his children, he also takes on a different attitude at work. He doesn't care about the people. The most important decision you ever make is selecting a spouse.
Okay.
You know, whether you're a woman or a man, that's the single biggest thing, because this is your commitment for life. And if you can't be successful at that, how can you possibly think you're ever going to be successful at running a business if you can't select a good mate? And I believe a big part of the feeling that we have and the lack of really, truly caring about our employees is the fact that our home life isn't one that's caring and loving.
Along the same lines, then, does this also have to affect problem solving? In terms of problem solving, whether it's production issues or personnel issues at work, is this all wrapped up in the same idea?
I've got to admit, Americans are the best problem solvers in the world. That's because we have more problems than anybody else does.
A lot of practice.
We don't really focus on prevention.
Okay.
You know, basically, our managers all got where they are because they're good problem solvers. And when you get to be a manager, you like people around you that are like you. If a person is a good problem solver, you promote him. A person that's over here preventing problems, he never moves. I had a fellow that worked for me. His name was Joe Volpe when I worked at IBM. And Joe, he was a nice guy, but you know, he never really was doing much. You know? He was lucky. He used to get to all these good, easy programs. So, just went right through, come into manufacturing, ran through, no problems. But these other guys, other fellows, we had all these problems, and we were in to see the president of the company. We were out to the customers. These were the fellows that were really doing something. Yeah. And I began to wonder. I worked with Joe for 8 years, and I never promoted him because he didn't really do anything. These guys that were out there solving problems, wow. Yeah. But then I began to look at what Joe was doing. He'd go over to the development engineer, and he'd sit down with him and talk with him, and we'd make the changes, and before it ever got out. And he was a good preventer. And that's what happens. The fellow that prevents problems from occurring is never recognized. He's sidetracked and people forget about him. And that's the key. It's very, very hard to recognize people that are very good at preventing problems. And in fact, our financial system won't allow you to do that. There's an old saying in IBM. If you want to get promoted, there's one sure way. Create a problem that you can solve.
That wraps up our series of interviews with H. James Harrington. We hope you've enjoyed his perspective of quality around the world and at home. Next week, we interview Rena Malari, Executive Chair of the Coordinate Metrology Society, sponsors of the Coordinate Metrology Systems Conference. As an engineer with years of experience in aerospace, Malari speaks passionately about the need for skilled metrologists in an industry that can't hire measurement specialists faster than they retire.
Thank you.